Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Vinayana Sattva Thank you all again. So we'll start we'll do a recap of the 14th chapter of the Gita. Who remembers what some points that were profound or interesting from the last several classes, so we can...
Better to die in the mode of goodness.
It's also better to live in the mode of goodness.
Yes.
We definitely learned about modes. This is 3 modes. And yeah, better to die in the mode of goodness. I love that.
Ready?
Katie?
Our scholar?
Oh, no. Don't tell me that.
No.
So,
Sorry, what was the question? I was getting to...
Chapter 14 recap. What do you remember?
Ooh, 3 modes.
Everybody's covered the 3 modes.
Hey, you got
Actually,
this
we've only
far.
covered 1 mode. What are the other 2 modes?
Oh, wait, what's one of the modes?
So mode of happiness, excuse me, goodness,
we got Raja, we got action, we got passion, we got action.
Action.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then we have sattva, no action, stillness, inertia, laziness.
okay, we're getting there. All right. All right. Julie, what are you going to say?
Yes.
I was going to say last week we talked a lot about food.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, so the Bhagavad Gita, in this particular section, even though the Gita is broken up into 5 main topics, this chapter is talking about how material nature is very binding, how there are 3 primary forces that are engaging us, whether we like it or not, engaging our consciousness into what we see, how we see it, what we taste, how we taste it, what we smell, how we smell it, our reaction, our relationships, and how we relate to someone else. These modes of material nature are, as Gray mentioned, sattva, which is like the mode of goodness, the knowledge, learning, acquiring knowledge, and actually implementing the knowledge. Then you have rajas, or passion, the desire to keep, you're always doing something. There's always a goal, next step. It leads to, business being created, relationships being made. These things are considered the mode of passion. And the mode of tamas and the mode of ignorance are those things which are inertia, as you mentioned, like not doing anything. Even though we have the ability to do something, we prefer to be lazy. We prefer to be destructive to ourselves and our environment. So this is, in the summary, the mode. So we'll start with text number 1 of the first chapter, the 14th chapter, and we'll read 1 verse each until we get to verse 17, and then we'll break down the Sanskrit and go even deeper. Okay. Do you mind reading text number 1?
14.1. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Again, I shall declare to you the supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection."
By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution.
The total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth, and it is the Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Brahma.
Text 4, it should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the secret father.
Text 5.
no living entity comes in contact with nature, almighty armed, Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes.
Text 6, all centers on the mode of goodness. Being purer than others is illuminated, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge.
Text 7, the mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and multitudes, O son of mankind, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material, fruitive actions.
Lucy?
O son of Bharata, the mode of ignorance causes the delusion of all living entities. The result of this mode is madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul.
That's sin. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance. O son of Bharata, sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition and supremacy.
Did we skip 9?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry. Would you read 9, please?
Okay. So, oh, wait a minute. Okay, O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion, conditions one to fruitive action and ignorance, covering one's knowledge binds one to madness.
Take what you read when you can.
Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance. O son of Bharata, sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy.
Text 11. The manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge.
Text 12, O chief of the Paramas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop.
Text 13, when there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusion are manifested.
14. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the greatest sages.
Text 15. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities, and when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom.
16. The result of pious action is pure and is said to be the mode of goodness. But action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness.
So we'll start the Sanskrit on text 17. Sattva sanjayate jnanam.
Sattva sanjayate jnanam.
Rajaso labo evacha.
Rajaso labo evacha.
Pramada mahautamaso. Avato jnanam evacha. Sattvam sanjayate jnanam.
Sattva sanjayate jnanam.
Rajaso
sanjayate gyanam.
Sattva sanjayate jnanam.
Rajaso loba eva cha.
Rajaso loba eva cha.
Pramada moha tamaso.
Pramada moha tamaso.
Bhavato jnanam eva cha.
Bhavato jnanam eva cha.
Sattvat sanjayate jnanam.
Sattva sanjayate jnanam.
Rajaso lopa eva cha.
Rajaso lopa eva cha.
Pramada moha tamaso.
Pramada moha tamaso.
Bhavo jnanam eva cha.
Bhavato jnanam eva cha.
Sattva sanjayate jnanam.
Sattva sanjayate jnanam.
Rajaso lopa eva cha.
Rajaso lopa eva cha.
Pramada moha tamaso.
Pramada moha tamaso.
Bhavato jnanam eva cha.
Bhavato jnanam eva cha.
Sattva sanjayate jnanam.
Sattva sanjayate jnanam.
Rajacholopa eva cha.
Rajaso lopa eva cha.
Pramada moha tamaso.
Pramada moha tamaso.
Bhavato jnanam eva cha.
Bhavato jnanam eva cha.
So these are word for word. Sattva,
Sattva.
from the mode of goodness.
From the mode of goodness.
Sanjayate,
Sanjayate.
develops.
Develops.
Jnanam,
Jnanam.
knowledge.
Knowledge.
Rajasa,
Rajasa.
from the mode of passion.
From the mode of passion.
Lobha,
Lobha.
greed.
Greed.
Eva,
Eva.
certainly.
Certainly.
Cha,
Cha.
also.
Also.
Pramada,
Pramada.
madness.
Madness.
Moha,
Moha.
and illusion.
Illusion.
Tamasa,
Tamasa.
from the mode of ignorance.
From the mode of ignorance.
Bhavata,
Bhava.
develop.
Develops.
Agyana,
Ajnana.
nonsense.
Nonsense.
Eva,
Eva.
certainly.
Certainly.
Cha,
Cha.
also.
Also.
From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance, develops foolishness, madness, and illusion. So we'll read 2 sentences each from the purport.
Since the present civilization is not very congenial to the living entities, Krishna consciousness is recommended. Through Krishna consciousness, society will develop the mode of goodness.
When the mode of goodness is developed, people will see things as they are. In the mode of ignorance, people are just like animals and cannot see things clearly.
In the mode of ignorance, for example, they do not see that by killing one animal that they are taking a chance of being killed by the same animal in the next life, because people have no education and actual knowledge to become irresponsible.
Stop this irresponsibility. Education for developing the mode of goodness of people in general must be there. When they are actually educated in the mode of goodness, they will become sober in full knowledge of things as they are.
Then people will be happy and prosperous. Even if the majority of the people aren't happy and prosperous, if a certain percentage of the population develops Krishna consciousness and becomes situated in the mode of goodness, then there is the possibility for peace and prosperity all over the world.
Otherwise, if the world is devoted to the modes of passion and ignorance, there can be no peace or prosperity. In the mode of passion, people become greedy, and their hankering for sense enjoyment has no limit.
One can see that even if one has enough money and adequate arrangements for sense gratification, there is neither happiness nor peace of mind. That is not possible because one is situated in the mode of passion.
If one wants happiness at all, his money will not help him. He has to elevate himself to the mode of goodness by practicing Krishna consciousness. When one is engaged in the mode of passion, not only is he mentally unhappy, but his profession and occupation are also very troublesome.
He has to devise so many plans and schemes to acquire enough money to maintain the status quo. This is all misery.
Even more. What's that?
To read.
Oh, I'm sorry. In the mode of ignorance, people become mad. Being distressed by the circumstances, they take shelter of intoxication and thus sink further into ignorance. Their future in life is very dark.
So before we go into the next verse, we'll probably do 2 verses. What's being explained here is for every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. When we are engaged in a certain mindset, whatever our mindset is, whatever the frequency or the state of that thought, we develop that corresponding result. In the 2nd chapter of the Gita, Krishna explains to Arjuna, and he uses the word sanchayate, develops. I think it's 260, text 2, chapter 2, text 62, where Krishna explains when one comes in contact with some object, we develop attachment for that object. And from attachment, this desire develops. And when that desire is not met, or when it's disturbed, or when somebody interrupts it, we become angry. So we become attached to different things in different modes of nature. Of course, one who is in the mode of goodness primarily is attached to knowledge, to wisdom, to acquiring that which is ultimately going to help them uplift themselves. So typically, a person who is in the mode of goodness thinks about personal development. That is a idea of, or that is a function of someone who's in the mode of goodness. They're thinking, how do I develop myself? So that I can be a benefit not only to myself, but my family, and to the world. That person who is in the mode of passion, their attachment is to, how can I make the most money as quickly as possible so I can acquire as many things as fast as possible, as well as how do I attract my partner as quickly as possible, and they're always accumulating these things. And a person in the mode of ignorance, their attachment is to that which is destructive for their body and their mind, as well as to society. Like, for example, there are people that take intoxicants that cause severe brain damage, like meth or other things like that. And they're very addicted to that thing. And for them, that is their happiness. That is their enjoyment. So in different modes of nature, the stimuli is going to be different. So it's understanding where we are what stimulates us. Is it good conversations that's stimulating? Is that conversation good because it's about someone else's problems, or is that conversation good because it's help benefiting the world, help benefiting society? The modes of nature, even though they're neutral, they're competing for dominance in our consciousness. And if we do not become aware of these competing forces, then whatever the mind dictates, whatever society dictates, whatever the media dictates, then we'll go along with that type of stimuli. And this is why it's very important to develop association, develop communication, develop relationships which identify these modes. Not just identify them, but help us gradually rise. Like Heather was saying earlier, it's best to die in the mode of goodness. Yes, out of all the modes, if you're going to die in one of the modes, die in the mode of goodness. Because Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita that where our consciousness, where our mind goes, energy flows. So we know this body is made up of energy. Called soul, atma. There's different names for that energy which activates the body, right? So what our predominating, the way we live, gives a good idea as to where our mind is going to be at the time of death. So if our mind is absorbed in higher subject matters which are meant to elevate, then Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, those in the mode of goodness are going to the higher planetary systems, attaining higher bodies with longer lifespans, more beautiful, more capacity for enjoyment. Krishna says that is the destination of a person who has this predominating consciousness in the mode of goodness, sattvic. This is why when we're cooking, we do sattvic cooking, because that in which we eat should also raise the consciousness vibrational level in the mind and heart and the body. And Krishna says those who leave their body in the mode of passion, they attain a humanoid type birth. Krishna it's explained all over the Vedas in the yoga philosophy that there are 8.4 million species of life. And of those 8.4 million species, there's 400,000 humanoid types that are all around this universe. This universe is massive. And Krishna's explaining that you'll attain, if you continue down this path of just enjoying without raising the consciousness, or being in a mode of passion, then you obtain a body, whether a black body, white body, Asian body, all these different bodies you obtain on this planet, that planet, or another planet. So, and then those who are in the mode of ignorance, Krishna explains that if our consciousness is based off of, if we're just animalistic, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, then we get a suitable animal body for these things. Like last week we talked about the dolphin and the pufferfish. Somebody wants to take intoxicant, they come in a body of a dolphin, where they can enjoy. Or if it's someone likes sex, to take a birth. Yes.
Did you say dolphin?
Dolphin. Yes.
If you like to get stoned, you become a dolphin.
We talked about pufferfish last week.
I'm sorry?
We talked about pufferfish last week, and dolphins toss around pufferfish
Oh,
to become intoxicated.
I missed that.
It's okay.
Actually, if you're stoned, it might be fun to be a dolphin.
We can try it.
Sorry. It's like it's in the mode of goodness.
So if one wants to have unlimited sex, one can come out as a pig, because pigs can do that. So the universe will facilitate the body in which we most desire. We may not understand that these desires have consequences, but where our thought goes, energy flows. And the universe is so reciprocal that if we spend the majority of our lifetime developing these certain qualities, these certain stimuli, then the universe grants us a body in which we can fully enjoy in that consciousness. So that from the yogi standpoint, the yogi says, I don't want definitely to be in the body of an animal, nor do I want to seek lower than that. But also, I don't really want to come back in this material world or on this planet where I have to spend, 60, 70, 80, 90 years worrying about my job, worrying about my children, worrying about my family, my relationships, the fact that I'm aging. I cannot stop the fact that I'm aging. The yogis are like, hey, how can I attain a higher level of existence? And it's explained in parts of the universe, there are inhabitants that stay in certain planets that live for millions of years. But the bhakti yogi, those who are steeped in devotion, who understand there's a divine being, how do we relate? How do we develop that intense, loving relationship? Those bhakti yogis understand they don't want life, even if it's millions of years, with extreme happiness, because they understand the law of this universe is that every action, there's an equal opposite reaction, and you're developing karma, which are seeds that are being planted to later eat at one point in the future. So every action develops a seed, or thoughts develop seeds, and then we water those seeds by our association, by what we do on a daily basis, then that develops the tree. And that tree will develop fruit. And based off of what we've been planting in our consciousness, planting through our actions, then we have to eat those fruits. Some are very sweet, some are extremely bitter. So the yoga philosophy explains that instead of just going in this cycle, the samsara, life after life, being in this body of a man, body of a woman, body of, in this culture, in this religion, all these things. The Bhakti Yogi says, I want to be in a relationship with divinity or God so intense that it doesn't matter where I am, as long as I am steeped in that love. This is the love that we're not really familiar with, because we say this if anybody's been married in, better or worse, but nobody really wants the worse. Right? The thought process is the better, right? But the yogi, they don't care where they are, what planetary system they're in, the heavenly planets, the middle earthly realms, or the hellish planets. They don't care. They want to be in constant engagement, constant alignment with God. And so in different religions, God's called Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah, Krishna. But the goal is to develop a relationship with that one supreme being, so that no matter where we are, we're always in a state of being, a state of peace, and a state of happiness that is unshakable regardless of our external situation. Because how easy is it to be happy when you're in a suffering situation? Very, very difficult. And when you're in a good environment, it's easier to be happy. But the yogis should be equipoised in both happiness and distress. So Krishna's first helping us understand that you're not this body. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. Do not be attached to this temporary vessel. Take care of it. Do not neglect this vessel. Take care of it very well. But do not become overly absorbed in this identification, because what you're going to age. This body that you're looking at in the mirror is going to change in 5 years. It's going to change in 10 years. So don't become attached to these things. So before we go to the next section, the next verse, what thoughts? Arguments? Realizations before we...
Realization. It's just the attachment to the results. This is a good highlight of that in our lives. We attach to, I'm working on this goal. It doesn't pan out. One gets distraught. It's good to point out, the background behind that. Why not to do that?
And sometimes in the Buddhist philosophy, they say, do not become attached. So theoretically, this is a good idea. However, the Vedic perspective, to go deeper, it's not about being attached, it's what we're attached to. Because attachment in itself is neither bad nor good. But what we attach our minds to, that dictates whether it's beneficial or not beneficial. Because there's no type of neutral attachment when it comes to our life. Because something is either helping us or it's not helping us.
So when you're at the point of realization that you do have those attachments, right, let it be or for the holistic things, for the relationship, then what? What route would you advise and guide to take?
If I understand your question right, once we accept we do have attachments, we understand what those attachments are, how to
let them go.
So the easiest way Krishna explains is do your duty, your dharma. Do what is calling you, but don't become attached to the results. that is the easiest way to transcend the levels of attachment. Is because a lot of times when we do something, we read this book, we have a goal in mind. I'm going to remember X, Y, Z. But when we read it, we only remember Z. We only remember A, and we get distraught. But if we read something and we don't remember, it's okay. Don't be attached to that expectation. It is that expectation which ultimately is not our friend, because that expectation will lead us to frustration, anger, all these other things. It's okay to, if my goal is to be a yoga teacher, my goal is to be the best father, best business owner, best mother, best all these things, it's okay. But when you fall short, don't beat yourself up. Don't be attached to this. Whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm trying to do, give that to God.
I have, I'm gonna try to explain this in a way that is my dog, as we know him. I'm still attached to him, but what I found is that every time I get a little sad, there's that kind of blissful feeling. And I'm wondering if it's okay to be attached in a way that you keep moving forward, but you can still have their memory and their love,
Yeah.
right? Like without like sinking in too deep, but allowing yourself to breathe, but in a way that you keep moving forward, that it's not as painful. It's painful. I mean, I don't believe that you get over anything. If you have an attachment, you can function, you can enjoy the emotions and the ups and downs of it, but it's like, I think you never really wake up in complete bliss. Like, it's okay to feel these different emotions. Isn't that like a part
So,
of the experience?
To your point, especially when we lose a loved one, this is a natural a consequence of being in this world. If somebody we cared about, we will lose them, or they will lose us. This is natural. And grief is extremely natural. To let the grief make us inert is generally not ideal. But when the grief helps us move, helps us become active, become productive, remembering this loved one actually helped change my life. And the good,
Yeah,
and
that's what I was trying to say.
Then that attachment is transcendental. So the feeling, because we're in these vessels, we're going to experience a variety of emotions, and these emotions are very natural. So Krishna is explaining that as we act, we do karma. Karma means action. As we act in this material world, the best action is doing what is natural for us to do, but not be attached to the result of that natural thing. So, for example, if someone is a natural singer, someone can sing, and that is their gift, and they have occupation in singing, then do that singing and try to dovetail that in a spiritual way, right? Or if one can't do that in a spiritual way, then whatever one can do with their own time and energy to help someone else, do that. But do not be attached to results. So this is how we incorporate and raise the state of consciousness of our actions, of our attachments. Because we're always going to have attachments. But understanding, is this attachment helping me or is it hurting me? Is this attachment, if I succeed with with what I'm attached to, can I change just myself? Can I change the world around me? Or will I hurt myself or hurt the world around me? These things. And this is why for for yogis, for those who are considering themselves yogis, who want to understand deeper about yoga, having this fundamental understanding about attachment and about how to engage attachment in a healthy, conductive, productive way is going to be extremely beneficial as you proceed in life. Is that,
Yes.
you gonna say something?
I mean, I guess I'm just thinking, what's coming to mind is that quote, like, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. For some reason in my mind, I'm like associating pain with attachment and saying, well, how I'm understanding what the discussion is about is you can have attachments, but you don't have to be, like you said, committed to the outcome. Like if it's not the desired outcome, you can get through that. You don't have to suffer because you're not getting exactly what you want or things don't turn out the way you want them to turn out. That's where my mind is going.
So this is, mind you, this is a very deep esoteric discussion. So there are many layers to this. Right now, the best thing to understand is that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And we've experienced, everybody in here has had their own set of experiences which are defining to them. And based off the mode of consciousness, based off the guna, the mode of nature that we're predominantly in, we see things based on that particular way of life that we've acquired. So Krishna is saying, wherever you are, just elevate where you are. And if we think about like a divine being, shouldn't that divine being have our welfare in mind? Shouldn't they be able to accept where we are and just help encourage us to move higher? This would be a logical, perspective of divinity or idea. So Krishna's saying, Krishna sees Arjuna. This war is actually happening, this conversation is happening on the battlefield because a war is getting ready to start. So Arjuna, gripped by attachment for his family and friends who are on the other side of the battlefield, Krishna's explaining, hey, these people are already dead due to the time factor because everyone has to die. It is just a matter of time before they die. Do not be gripped or do not be confused by this fact that you understanding that there must be your duty as a warrior is to fight for justice. You understand theoretically and practically that those on the other side of the battlefield have done unscrupulous things, have done horrendous things to you and your family and to others. So you must fight this battle. Do not become attached to the idea that you will take their life. Actually, for a warrior to die in battle is the most glorious thing. This is what Krishna is telling Arjuna, because this is Arjuna's occupation as a warrior. We all have different occupations. And our battlefield looks differently. What job to take, what certificate to have, what relationship to get in, all these things. So Krishna's explaining like we're all on the battlefield in some way, shape, or form. It may not be identical to Arjuna, but the fact of the matter is we have to fight. And that fight is for that which brings us ultimate happiness, lasting, sustainable happiness, as well as bringing up those around us. Because that is what a leader does. So Arjuna is in this distraught condition. So now there's 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. There's four left. So Krishna's explaining from an analytical standpoint what you see, how you see it, your attachments, how you're attached to it. These are defined by the different modes of nature. And if you have proper understanding, then you should fight in the mode of goodness. And this seems very contradictory. How can someone fight in the mode of goodness? Does anybody have an answer? How one can do something apparently violent in a mode of goodness? How is that possible?
I guess you kind of gotta look at it like, I mean, you gotta remove the hatred from it, cause it's like, obviously you trying to hurt this person. Like, because we are talking about physical violence, right? And you're trying to hurt this person. But it's more so, maybe you gotta think about it as some form of justice has to be served. And it's like, I'm gonna beat you up in the name of love, because in the long run, you know, it's like when you fight with your little brother, your little sister, or older brother, it's like, I'm finna beat you up, but I don't hate you, you know, we still love each other. But for whatever reason, I feel like I need to hurt you so that you learn this lesson in the long run.
Similar, yes. You can.
I have a question. I'm thinking intention has something to do with it?
Yes. 100%. 100%.
I was just gonna say, to fight in the mode of goodness, just like Arjuna, he didn't want to fight, but he had to protect goodness. Duryodhana and his group were attacking Dharma. Dharma means the way of the universe, the way, what's that old Billy Preston song? That's the way God planned it, that's Dharma. And Duryodhana and his group had attacked that. And so Krishna encouraged Arjuna to fight for what is good, even though he didn't want to. He did his duty, but he wasn't attached to the results.
And of course,
I have one thing I wanted to ask about that, because that kind of made me think, does that mean that, and please, like, feel free to respond to that first, but I was wondering, does that mean that protection is kind of an intention for acting in the name of goodness when you're fighting? Because it's like, you know, self-defense, and you're protecting something that's good or that's pure, and like from outside forces.
Last week we talked about how something that could be in a mode of goodness can, with the intention is improper, then that same activity in the mode of goodness can be in a mode of ignorance or passion. So similarly, that when we think of fighting is a very passionate, sometimes violent thing. But if that fighting is done to protect or to save someone, that is now in the mode of goodness, because the intention is protection. So Arjuna, understanding his duty, Krishna helped him remind him of his duty, understands, hey, okay, if I do not stop these individuals, and they will continue in the name of adharma to negatively affect others, right? So I was having a conversation on Friday. We were out there doing the book table, and this one gentleman came to me and he said, I had my hands in my bead bag, so I was chanting. He said, what you got there? And I was telling him, you know, why I was meditating. And he was like, oh, you should. He was giving me his recommendations as to why I shouldn't have it in the bag and so forth. And his interpretation on peace. And I told him, I said, I'm a peaceful person. However, if a person comes in my house with the wrong intention, I'll help them reincarnate faster. And so this was my response to that, out of protection of my family. And so the intention behind what we do has so much weight in spirituality, what to speak of. I mean, in relationships, not so much, because if you do something wrong but you had the right intention, your partner's going to be like, you messed up. They're not going to really put so much focus on your intention, right? So this, on the spiritual level, intention is very, very necessary.
But then, the gentleman in your house at 2 o'clock in the morning, looking at your jewelry, may just be stealing a loaf of bread for his family to eat. Not in your jewelry, but you know. Or like, you're saying that there's not a single good soldier on the other side of that battlefield?
Oh no, that's not the case at all. There were many in the first chapter. Krishna explains how there are noble people on the other side as well. But the leader they were fighting for, you know, like for example, there's many people. There's war going on right now in different parts of the world, and there are good people fighting for terrible causes. I think we were talking about the other day that in some countries, as soon as you turn of age, you have to join the military. If not, they jail or may kill you. I'm not sure if death is the other option, but they'll jail you if you don't fight for their cause. So this situation is on Arjuna's side, in Bhagavad Gita, there were many really wonderful people on the other side, but their allegiance was to someone, to a leadership that was not good. And so this is also the conundrum that Arjuna's having. He's like, I know on the other side, those are my teachers. They trained me in military science. But due to their weakness of heart, due to their attachment and their inability to separate themselves from bad leadership, they're fighting on behalf of leadership. And Krishna's saying, understandably, I know it's difficult, but you have to fight for justice. Is that?
So those people are just suffering a consequence of their own ignorance.
That, and yes. And sometimes our relationships, if we have not thoroughly scrubbed our relationship, sometimes our friends or family can get us into trouble. So sometimes it's best to kind of distance ourselves. That can be our ability, our action is to move away from someone who's causing harm.
So, can
But-
I ask, sorry, like, even if it's like a family that you love, you don't have to be so, like, truthful to them, right?
When you say truthful, what do you mean?
Like, very honest, you can keep a distance, like, love them from a distance.
Yes, I mean, always be truthful.
Yeah,
But if you're, if you have to interact with them,
yeah,
try to create boundaries in that relationship,
yeah,
healthy boundaries,
okay,
if that helps.
yeah,
Because even boundaries are the mode of goodness when it's done with the right intention.
okay.
On my perspective, when I was deployed to Iraq in 2005, I see them as a human being, society. And so there was like in my mind, when I was training, in basic training, AIT, to blow people up with this rocket launch system. And, you know, I saw that some people were molded by the doctrine more than I, where these aren't even human beings over here in this country, where it's not our country. And so there, I saw that, you know, dilemma that Arjuna has.
Yeah. And this kind of training is tamasic. Why? Because it takes identity out of the equation. It takes personality out of the equation. If we look at any other culture, when they want to invade, they change the name of the person. They make them into animals. Or they completely remove the fact that they're a living, breathing person, just so they can obtain something. So this is how that works, and this is a very tamasic idea. And it's a very sattvic idea to see individuality in everyone. You see how these modes are playing in every shape, form, or kind of space in life. These modes of nature. Sometimes we think good, bad. No, it's not always black and white. And so the Vedas help us understand the gray and allow us to figure out where we are in the modes and gradually rise our consciousness so that when we are even in a terrible external environment, mentally we're at peace. Because as Jugal was chanting, or as he was saying, this sound vibration in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy is so strong that it has the ability to unbind us from these modes and raise the consciousness just by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Very simple. One gets to do that, and life is simple. Krishna says, you know, this is the Dharma, or this is the sacrifice. Sometimes we think of sacrifice meaning we have to take something away, or we have to kill something, we have to destroy something. No. Krishna says this sacrifice, just chanting these divine names, will bring the utmost clarity, utmost happiness, utmost peace in life, that the goal or the result will be so satisfying that anybody that comes within close proximity will see how wonderful, how bright, how shiny, how just potent that person is. And this is the side effect of this association, of chanting, of having these stimulating conversations, is that we're cleansing the heart, the mirror of the consciousness, so that we can see ourselves properly and the others can see us properly. Because when we're making these changes in life, we may not think it's making a difference, but do this for a month, seriously, 2 months, seriously, and see how people are like, wow, something's different about you. I can't really put my finger on it so much. But changing how you speak, changing the mode in which you speak, changing the mode in what the foods you eat, the conversations you have, the things you watch, this will have a dynamic impact on the consciousness. And people will see your aura. It's what they call aura farming. You know? It's like, wow, this person's just glowing. So I encourage you all, take this. This is spiritual science. If you want to disprove it, try it. And if it doesn't work, then you can say, Krishna Davis didn't work. I tried it for a month, tried it for a year. I don't feel peace. Or I don't feel like, you know, doing this again. Krishna says it's okay. Even if you only do this one time in your life, you only chant Krishna one time, it's fine. Because that seed that was planted can never be destroyed. And the fruit that come from that seed will manifest later in one of your lifetimes, where you come across the same kind of community, the same philosophy. It's like, this makes sense. Because typically we have to go through so much suffering before we have that epiphany. It's like, we have to bump our head a few times. It's like, I don't want to do that again. And then it's like, okay, this makes sense. So anyway, I kind of went over, so I do apologize.